The $190,000 cheat code to never save for retirement again. We're told the same lie our entire lives. Go to school, get a good job, then spend 40 years grinding. Wake at 6 a.m., sit in traffic, tolerate a boss you don't like, dutifully save 20% of your paycheck into your 401k every single month. Why? So that one day, when you're 65 years old, tired, your knees hurt, you're finally allowed to stop working and enjoy your life. That's the standard path. It's slow, it's painful, and frankly, it sucks. But what if I told you there was a mathematical cheat code? What if there's a specific dollar amount you can hit in your 30s, and once you hit it, you never have to save another penny for retirement again? You don't stop working, you just stop saving. Imagine having your entire paycheck to actually enjoy your life right now, knowing your future is already secured. This isn't a fantasy. It's a financial concept called coast fire, and if you don't know your number, you're probably working way harder than you need to. I'm Boris, and today we're breaking down coast fire, what it is, the exact math behind it, and how to calculate your freedom number. What is coast fire? You've probably heard of regular fire, financial independence, retire early. That's the hardcore people who save 70% of their income, eat rice and beans, and retire completely at age 30 with $1 million. That's great, but it's miserable to get there. Coast fire is different. It's the Goldilocks zone. I want you to imagine building a snowman. The hardest part is the beginning. You have a tiny snowball in your hands, and you're pushing it through deep snow. You're sweating, your back hurts, and the snowball is barely getting bigger. This is your 20s. You're working hard, saving that first $10,000, that first $50,000. It feels like a grind because your money isn't making money yet. But what happens eventually? You push that snowball to the top of a giant hill. It's heavy now, it's massive, and then you let go. Gravity takes over. The snowball starts rolling down the other side all by itself, getting bigger and faster exponentially without you touching it. That moment you let go, that is your coast fire number. It's the point where you've saved just enough money early on that compound interest will finish the job for you by the time you hit age 65. The math. Grinding Gary versus Coast Carl. Let's look at the math, because when you see the numbers, it changes everything. We're comparing two people, Grinding Gary and Coast Carl. Both want to retire at age 65 with a nice nest egg. Grinding Gary follows traditional advice. He starts saving at age 25. He puts away $500 a month every single month without fail for 40 years. By age 65, assuming an 8% average return, Gary has about $1.7 million. Not bad. But he had to sacrifice $500 a month for his entire adult life. Now look at Coast Carl. Carl is intense. From age 25 to age 35, Carl lives frugally. He aggressively saves and invests. By age 35, he manages to save up $250,000. At age 35, Carl hits his coast number. On his 35th birthday, Carl stops saving. He never puts another dime into his retirement account. He takes that extra money each month and spends it on travel, a nicer apartment, whatever he wants. What happens to that $250,000 sitting in his account? He ignores it for 30 years. At that same 8% growth rate, when Carl turns 65, that $250,000 has grown into $2.5 million. Look at the difference. Carl has more money than Gary, even though Carl stopped saving 30 years earlier. Why? Because Carl front-loaded the pain. He let compound interest do the heavy lifting during those crucial middle decades. This is the magic of coast fire. Once you push the snowball to the top of the hill, you're done pushing. The psychology, freedom now, not later. The math is cool, but the psychology is where this changes your life. Right now, you probably feel financial pressure. You make $5,000 a month, but you know you should be saving $1,000 of it for the future, so you really only have $4,000 to live on. There's this constant background anxiety that you aren't doing enough. When you hit your coast number, that anxiety vanishes instantly. If your coast number is $250,000, the day your portfolio hits $250,000, you unlock a new level of freedom. Suddenly, you don't need that high-stress corporate job that pays $120,000 a year but makes you miserable. Why were you working that job? To save for retirement. But retirement is funded. It's done baking in the oven. You could quit that high-stress job and take a fun job paying $70,000 a year. You might take a pay cut, but your lifestyle might actually improve because you get to keep 100% of your paycheck. You switch from accumulation mode to maintenance mode. You just need to earn enough to cover your current expenses. That is profound freedom. How to calculate your Coast Fire number. Okay, Boris, I'm sold. How do I find my number? It requires working backwards. It's a two-step process. Step 1, the end goal. How much money do you need at age 65 to retire happily in today's dollars? A common rule of thumb is the rule of 25. Take your desired yearly spending in retirement and multiply it by 25. Let's say you want to spend $80,000 a year in retirement. 80,000 times 25 equals $2 million. That's your target portfolio at age 65. Step 2, the reverse calculation. Now we need to figure out how much money you need today so that it grows into $2 million by age 65 without you adding anything else. You need a compound interest calculator. Let's say you're 30 years old right now. You have 35 years until age 65. We'll assume a conservative 7% return after inflation. You plug it in. What starting amount, growing at 7% for 35 years, equals $2 million? The answer is roughly $190,000. That is your Coast number. If you're 30 years old and you have $190,000 invested in low-cost index funds, you're theoretically done saving for retirement. If you don't have $190,000 yet, that is your singular focus. Forget a balanced budget. You need to attack that number with everything you have, because once you cross that finish line, the rest of your life gets easier. The objections. Now I hear the comments typing already. Boris, what about inflation? What if the market crashes? What if I want to retire before 65? Valid points. Inflation. Yes, inflation is real. That's why when we calculate growth, we use a lower, more conservative return rate like 7% instead of the historical 10% of the S&P 500. That buffer accounts for inflation. Market crashes. The market will crash. But over a 30-year period, it has always recovered and grown. We're playing the long game here. Retiring before 65. Yes, Coast Fire doesn't mean you retire tomorrow. You still have to work to cover your rent and food today. If you want to retire completely at 40, you need regular, hardcore fire. Coast Fire is just about removing the biggest stressor of adult life, the fear of being broke when you're old. The bottom line. Here's the bottom line. Most people are running a marathon with no finish line in sight. They're just running until they collapse. Coast Fire gives you a finish line for the saving phase of your life. It allows you to front-load the sacrifice so you can enjoy the messy middle of your life, your 30s, 40s, and 50s, instead of waiting until your best years are behind you. Figure out your number. Write it on a Post-it note, stick it to your monitor, and run through walls until you hit it. If this video blew your mind a little bit, hit the like button so the algorithm shows it to more people stuck in the grind. Subscribe to Boris Finance for more ways to hack the financial system. Thanks for watching, and happy coasting.